Hello and welcome to the PetsApp Together podcast. I'm Naomi Kanomu.
And I'm Claire Cameron.
Hello, so this month we're really lucky to have the awesome Claire and Katie from Vet Empowered. Hello ladies, welcome to the PetsApp Together podcast. Katie, how are you doing?
I was just about 80% better, and then I managed to fall down the stairs right onto my bum and it really hurt.
Oh, Katie, I'm so sorry. So what's the new year looking like for you?
So lots of opportunities to get involved at what we do at Vet Empowered. Our signature group program, it is, and I mean, I know I'm going to say this and you think I'm biased, it is amazing. Please go and read the testimonials. You can come and spend 6 to 12 months with Claire and I and our amazing group of support coaches and actually put this stuff into action. So it's not just having a 1-hour webinar and being sent off on your own. It's being part of a community. It's learning. It's actually going through the process of reconnecting with you. And it blows us away every single time, the genuine change that we see. We enroll into that every 1 to 2 months. We always have the information. So slide into our DMs on Instagram, drop us an email. We can tell you when the next enrollment date is. That is honestly like top tier. I cannot rave about that enough. It makes such a difference being part of that community, and you can see everything about that on the website. We are also running an in-person event in March, which is so exciting. So we are doing Vet Empowered Live again. So we did Vet Empowered Live the first time last year, and it went so well that we had lots of demand for it to come back. So that is in Manchester, day after BSAVA. So the Sunday, same city, very convenient. We have some incredible guest speakers coming along. So we're welcoming back Chloe Hannigan and we're welcoming back Aoife Smith, who is a RVN and psychotherapist. But we also have some new speakers as well. So we have an amazing entrepreneur called David Bidler, who started an organization called Physiology First of all with a campus in the US, teaching people about their physiology. We know about animals' physiology, but we don't ever put that into place for us as much. And we're very much about that at Vet Empowered. He is incredible. He's been on Rangan Chatterjee's podcast, and he's also been shared many times by Andrew Huberman, which if you know, you know, that is a big thing, big accolade, because he's like the world's biggest podcaster. And we also have an amazing TikToker coming along to do a guest session as well. So she did a lot on rejection therapy. She's got a big TikTok following, and she's all about just showing you people are thinking about you less than you think. So she'll go out there, dance in the street. She'll go and ask to make her own coffee in the coffee shop. She'll say, can I speak over the tannoy at the supermarket? And it is all about just getting used to, you know, asking. And sometimes people will say no, and it is fine. So they're all going to come and speak at that event. And then through the year, we're speaking at various other events, which, I mean, we could go on forever, couldn't we, Claire? But there's always opportunities to get involved with what we're doing.
Absolutely. I think we're delivering workshops or speaking at conferences pretty much every month in 2025, which is really, really exciting. But yeah, we cannot wait for Vet Empowered Live. Like this year, the feedback was just unbelievable. People coming away going, that is genuinely like the best CPD day that I have ever experienced. And I think sometimes what can happen is there can be a lot of value placed on clinical CPD, which is of course valuable, but less emphasis on the non-clinical CPD. And we just feel it's so important to have that foundation to get to know yourself and to be in a room full of other people that are also wanting to make that change, and also the connections and the opportunities that can come up and just being part of that energy. So we're so excited to bring it back in March, and like our guest speakers are just absolutely incredible. So yeah, it's going to be good. And of course, Katie and I will be running some sessions for that as well. And yeah, we really can't wait. It's going to be an awesome day.
And I should have added as well there, our theme for this year is bold and balanced. So it's about us taking those steps forward, you reconnecting with what you actually want. So anyone that's listening, we speak to a lot of people that feel lost. They feel a little bit like, I don't know what direction to head in. Is the profession for me anymore? Is it not for me? What's important to me? I'm looking at what everybody else is doing on the internet, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and I just don't know what direction that I want to head in. But also knowing that tendency, like we talked about right at the beginning of the call, for so many of us to charge like all guns blazing at something and really not look after ourselves along the way. So bringing that like balance aspect. I know there's lots of different words that we can use for that, but you know, alliteration, bold and balanced. So we went with balanced. But yeah, we'd love to see some people there. In fact, we'd love to see you two there. Yes.
I'd love to be there. Love to be there. I like that though, bold and balanced, because I feel like sometimes, especially when I don't know how you feel about this, Claire, but when we're doing talks and we're doing events, you kind of have to kind of hype yourself up, and you're trying to kind of create like this bold character, and your knees are
I have
knocking.
to. I always think people hear my knees knocking from across the room when I talk.
Yeah, you're kind of like really like trying to hold it together, but the idea of like being bold but also kind of like the balance, because I feel like the post-event exhaustion for me is so full on from trying to be like this big character and trying to look like I've got it all together. But I think the balance side of it is, it's a bit like, admitting that you've had 3 nervous poos before you do a talk, like I did at Vetstagram.
I love that bit. That was my favourite bit, Naomi. Watching the recording back, I was like, brilliant. And that session got top like feedback. Like that was one of the favourite sessions of the whole event.
Oh, I was absolutely terrible.
Tell them how many poos you've had and you'll be fine. I'll take that to spin. It's interesting what you said, Claire, before about people not knowing that these sorts of things are CPD. I was actually talking at practice yesterday, and they were saying the same thing. They're a large practice, but they've got a counsellor that comes in every week to help the team and help support them through difficult cases. And we were talking about CPD actually, and a lot of the clinicians and a lot of the nurses didn't know that you could do CPD like this to work on yourself. They thought it was purely just clinical, and like, I hate the word hard and soft skills, but hard skills, but actually those people skills are so valuable in the profession and personally as well. Yeah, really valuable message that they can keep that as their CPD.
Such an important point to highlight, Claire, as well, because we tend to think at the conferences and when we're planning our CPD for the year that we talk to a lot of people that do just think about the clinical side of things, but actually that's all well and good having knowledge, but what helps you put that into action? We are we've been conditioned to be very much just about knowledge in the school system in the ways that we've got to this point, but actually what helps you to have that confidence in yourself to say, right, I know it. I understand why this feels a little bit different or difficult. I understand me to know at which point I ask for some help and who I ask for help and make that okay as well. And they're all the things that help you actually action that stuff. And we say this because we are so fortunate to work with a lot of the grad schemes now, which is an absolute dream for us both. When we started Vet Empowered was one of the things we said, we want to make sure that people as they graduate get this stuff because it is a life changer. I'll say to them, look, I did my internal medicine certificate the minute that I could do it. I sat the synoptic exam the minute that I could do it. And it like flailed in comparison to this stuff. This stuff had the biggest impact on my career, probably like 100 times more than me learning more book-based knowledge. For me to raise my self-awareness, be more self-compassionate, be more aware of other people, how I interact with them, remember they're human and they're valuable as well. And I actually loved being a vet in practice for years once I knew that stuff. It never came out of Ettinger or Fossum or another module of my certificate. It came out of connecting with people and their animals and my colleagues and myself.
Yeah, and you're seeing a big shift now. I've noticed that the popularity in having like mental health first aiders, and, having somebody that you can kind of report to and talk to about all elements, because I think that med school prepares you for what ends up being as a vet quite a small part of what your career kind of covers as a whole spectrum. And especially within the veterinary community, I don't think I've ever met an RVN or a vet tech or a vet that only just worked in clinic. Joe, the majority of them have a million other projects that they work on. A lot of people are diversifying. A lot of their reason into med school kind of had kind of sprouted out as children, and so it was kind of like fulfilling that childhood dream. And then when they got their degree, actually understanding what they wanted to do with it, they didn't really have the tools to make the decisions and really know which direction to go in. So I think having CPD that, like you say, is non-clinical, and that people can kind of work on how they fit in as an individual into the community, into the industry, into their career, and kind of what direction their path is gonna take. I think it's huge. And I think we see a lot in the States. We have a lot of DVMs and veterinary teams in the US that now look over to the UK, because they see, like you guys at Vet Empowered, they see Ebony and all of her team putting a lot of effort in kind of bringing groups of people together and opening these conversations up. And it's I think it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's as well knowing, like, figuring out what you want to do is sometimes trial and error, and giving yourself permission to do that. And we have a lot of people in our community, when they come to us and they're like, I'm not sure if I want to stay, do I want to go, do I want to diversify? And they're really scared to try different things, because they're like, what if it doesn't work out? And it's like, what if it doesn't work out? You can always make another choice. If you leave clinical practice, you can go back. And people just knowing there's that flexibility as well. And that often, like at the very start of our career, we can't predict where we'll be in 5 years' time or 10 years' time or 15 years' time. Like, I've graduated, and I hate saying this now because it shows my age, but almost 18 years ago. And I never would have thought as a new graduate vet that I would have diversified into coaching and have multiple businesses and be an entrepreneur. I wouldn't have foreseen that. And that's almost the beauty of it, right? That we're not always going to know where we're going to be in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 15 years' time. And giving ourselves permission to be curious about, like, what do I enjoy and what are my strengths and what do I want to lean into. We're going to have side steps along the way and back steps and things where we're like, oh, maybe I could have made a different choice in hindsight, and that's also okay because we're human.
100%. And we often joke, don't we? I say, I was meant to be a medicine specialist, right? If me, when I graduated in 2012, looked at what I'm doing now and somebody told me, I'd call bullshit on them and say, no, that is not what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to work in a referral centre. I'm going to be a medicine specialist, and that's what life looks like. Would I swap what I do now for that? Absolutely not. I love it. Like, I love the impact that we get to have. And that has absolutely been through that experiential thing, like Claire said. So much of it is make like an educated idea of your next decision. And that's what we help people to do. They get clear on what their strengths are, what's important to them, their values, start to maybe question some of those beliefs that they have about them not being a person to go and do that, even though, like, deep down they feel called to it. And then they go out there, take those steps, they've got people backing them, and they learn a little bit about themselves in the next role. And then you make a better decision from there because you've got a little bit more information, and then we go from there. And we often share with people, you know, we are going to come across hurdles. We are going to change the direction that we thought we were in. And the analogy we often explain to people is, if you are heading somewhere on Google Maps and you take a wrong turn, Google Maps doesn't say to you, you know what, you just need to pull on the handbrake and give up and not go there now. It redirects you again further down the line. You can make another turn, you can make another direction. You can go, oh, you know what, that was clearly not in the direction that I wanted to go. I'm going to make a tweak, I'm going to make a change. And as Ebony so beautifully calls it, it's like your veterinary passport. You can decide, okay, I'm going to head out of practice for a little bit, I'm going to learn a bit more about me now, and you can come back.
I think it was one of the things for me that was the most refreshing when I went to Vextagram a couple of years, I can't believe it was a couple of years ago now. But what I noticed was you there, we had people that had been in veterinary maybe for 20 years who were launching a new startup. We had veterinary students that hadn't even graduated yet, that were looking into like alternative careers and working out whether or not there was a pathway in media for them, that they could use everything that they were still learning and look at a career, you know, on TV, or whether they could start their own agencies. And there were lots of really great ideas and different ways that people were translating the qualifications and the experience that they have. So there's definitely a big change and a big shift that's happening, and for me it feels quite exciting.
Honestly, if I could bottle and just show to you, whilst keeping confidentiality, the shifts that we see in the people that come and be part of our program, I feel like it would give so many people hope that are sat there thinking this is just how it is, there's nothing that can change, and they feel disempowered, because that is why it's called Vet Empowered, and that is what we see. So we did that on Wednesday. We do have one final call of the year, don't we, Claire, on Sundays, which we always do journaling, meditation. They're getting a little bit of a rebrand and a shake up for the new year. So we're going to be launching something exciting soon around that as well, which will be good. And then it's going to be us doing what we talk about and giving ourselves a little bit of downtime as well, isn't it, Claire?
Yeah, absolutely. Having some rest, connecting with friends and family, and yeah, just giving ourselves permission to be. Because when you're busy all the time, you're used to the do, and sort of stepping back and doing a bit more of the being. And yeah, I guess also getting excited for 2025 and continuing to make impact and being able to support more people within the profession. This is what we are really passionate about, is empowering others. And like Katie said, just the shifts and changes that we see in people, it's absolutely incredible. So we just want to be able to bring this work to as many people that we can, and for people to know they get to create their own path, they get to be a creator in life, and they get to find a way that works for them. And they might not know what that way is just now, but it is out there. So yeah, that will be the rest of our year.
Yeah, we thank you guys so much for it.
And thank you for having us and giving us a platform to talk about what we do, because we would just love everybody to know this is a possibility and that this is an option. Because yeah, if we could get people to see the shift, obviously you read the testimonials, there's hundreds of them. You can ask us if you want to speak to someone that's been part of what we do. I know there are people that will be happy to be looped in and see that. So much of it is, like Claire said, kind of that trust the process, without it being something that is like a cliche or an overused phrase, but having somewhere where you can repeatedly get to know you, where you're safe, where you're encouraged, where you are held in your highest regard. Claire and I see everyone that comes into those programs as the valuable human that they are, even when they can't see it. And then at the other side, being empowered to see, just like Claire said, I can take back control of my life and the things that are in my control and start creating and start looking after me, whilst also accepting we are all human. We're going to have all the emotions. We're going to have our nervous system that is activated at various times, but starting to learn about ourselves and our physiology and who we are. And honestly, we could talk about it all day long. So please do, if anyone wants to know more, get in touch with us, because we love it.
And what can people expect? You're gonna come back and join us next month, aren't you, for a webinar as part of our series in partnership with Spivs? What can people expect to get out of that session with you guys?
Yeah, great question. So in this session, we are going to be talking about empowerment. And obviously, having a company called Vet Empowered, we know very much about that. And this is about how to empower your team. So we know that there are a lot of people out there that really do feel like they're powerless and there's nothing that they can do. And we want to help show you how you can do things to help empower the people around you without having to start Vet Empowered, and the things that are within your remit to be able to do what empowerment truly is, the difference that it makes, and importantly, the actionable things that you can do. There's nothing worse than a very heady webinar where we talk about things very abstract, but we don't give you the do. Both of us between us have spent nearly 30 years in practice now, which is terrifying when we say it out loud. So we get it. We've been in leadership roles, we've been in senior roles, we've done ECC, we've run our own businesses, I've employed people myself. Like we get it, we understand. So we're bringing not only our expertise, we've got all sorts of qualifications between us, bringing our experiences, and also the fact that we help so many people on the ground all the time. So I'd love the people that come to this session to walk away with a clear idea of what empowerment is, to feel energized by that. Being a leader is a real opportunity to step into that and have some things they can actually do on the ground as well.
Could you give me 3 tips for going boldly in a balanced format into 2025?
Oh, yeah. I think one would be reflecting on 2024 and looking at what went well and what are you going to choose to do differently moving into 2025. I think self-reflection is really, really important, and celebrating the wins and being like, that went really well and that was good and I want more of that. But also looking at what are the things that I want to change moving forwards? What could the first step be? Who could help me? Who have I already got in my support network? And not being afraid to ask for that support as well. I think so often we feel the pressure to do things on our own, but knowing that there are people out there that are ready to support you, that want to see you succeed. I think the second thing would be nervous system regulation. So
Mhm.
one of the big things that we talk about in Vet Empowered in terms of getting to know our nervous system and tools that can help us. So whether that's speaking to us at Vet Empowered about how we can help you, whether that's listening to podcasts, reading up, such an important thing. And I'm going to pass over to Katie for a third tip, because I know she'll have one up her sleeve.
Definitely. I was sat there thinking, is she going to pass to me for the third one, or do I need to think of 3 completely new ones? Because we usually go to say the same thing. The third one I'd say is similar to what we were talking about over the festive period. Commit to creating some time for you on a daily basis, something that feels doable. But so often what we do is we wait until we feel valuable enough to invest time into us. And actually, if we create some time for us each day, we're giving our brain evidence that we are looking after us and that we are valuable. So it's like action first. It's a little bit like confidence or anything. We wait for the belief to appear to take the action. Actually, the action has to happen first to then start to form the new belief. So I'd really encourage anyone listening to this is think about how can you make 10 minutes, start with 10 minutes for you each day. Yes, you might do other things, keep doing those, do what's already working, but create that for you and add some flexibility to it. It does not have to be the same thing every single day, but can that be 10 minutes where maybe you just have a really mindful cup of coffee in the morning? Maybe it's 10 minutes of being out in the fresh air. Perhaps it's 10 minutes of playing with your dog or your kids. Just something that is 10 minutes for something that is really important to you. And see what the difference is. Like Claire said, reflection is valuable. Commit to do it for a month. I'm going to do it for the first month and I'm going to look back. I'm going to see what difference that it made. Jump in a WhatsApp group with your friends. Say you're all going to do it. You're going to have accountability. You're all going to share what your 10 minutes of the day is. And notice what a difference it makes, because small actions add up.
Yeah, 100%. Lean into your village and just give it a go. I think it'd be wonderful, anybody that's listening to this, to find out what they commit to their 10 minutes to be, and that if everyone gives it a month and then lets us know the difference that they've seen. Because Katie, you've given me this advice before, and this has been something that I've been developing on and working on this past year. Because sometimes in the rush of it, you feel like kind of like your perception of time, it just kind of feels like it runs by so fast. And actually what I've realized is there's been lots of 10 minutes every day that I've wasted panicking and worrying and stressing about the fact that I don't have enough time and I've got a million things to do. And actually taking that 10 minutes, like you say, just have your cup of coffee. Like I just sit on the balcony, I let the sun shine on my skin, have my coffee, I let Baloo, my little dog, sit on my feet, and I just kind of like center myself down and kind of just like, a little bit of a deep breath, shoulders back before I kind of like jump into the day, and it makes a big difference.
I'd okay to say the same thing, and mine is coffee as well. In every morning I take 10 minutes as well before the kids wake up, before my husband wakes up, and just sit and get myself into the day before the chaos of the day takes away with you. And it makes such a difference, and I look forward to that every morning. Even the alarm going off 10 minutes before, it really does make a difference. So yeah, like Naomi said, I'd love to hear what people are committing to doing over that first month.
Love that, Claire. And I'd love, like, maybe if we all do 10 minutes already, where can we squeeze another one in? Because I was just very quickly in the background doing the maths on it, and anyone feel free to call me out on this, but it's less than 1% of our day. 10 minutes, that's nothing. Right? How can we give ourselves another 1%?
You know where I've stolen a lot of my time from is that I say I have to pick the kids up at 4. I set an alarm on my Google inbox for half an hour before. Google then gives me a notification 10 minutes before, and I realized I do that for everything. So that 10 minutes kind of like freezes me, and I have a 10-minute panic before I go into the half an hour preparation to getting ready to do the thing. And actually, that's 40 minutes at least, per task every day, that I could just, like Claire says, just chill the fuck out. Chuck it into the bucket.
Oh, there seems to be a good hashtag coming out of this podcast, but I'm not sure whether it'll be appropriate on every channel.
Thank you guys. It's been so wonderful. It's always wonderful talking to you guys. we could make a 20-hour podcast and everybody would waste all their 10 minutes for the whole year.
Or just collect them all, yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much. It's been so great catching up with you. I'm really excited to join you guys next month for the webinar session. And do you want to just quickly let everybody know where they can find you? What links to kind of catch up with you on?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us on social media. We're at Vet Empowered. So we're most active on LinkedIn, on Facebook and Instagram, of course. You can drop us an email, hello@vetempowered.com, and then our website, which is www.vetempowered.com. And that's got all the information on our group program, on the workshops that we offer to work with us.
And just to add, we have been visiting practices over the last couple of years as well and doing some amazing workshops too. So if anybody listens to us in January and thinks, you know what, I really feel like my team would benefit from a bit of Katie and Claire, also contact us via what Claire's just said.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you guys. And we'll leave it there. I guess we'll see you soon. Have a fantastic Christmas, a wonderful New Year's, and I'll see you in 2025.
Thank you for having us. We'll see you in 2025.
Together.